Hello and welcome. This is Minecraft Beta 1.2 here, as you can see up the top left, and today I'm going to be running you through all the new things from this update, because it was quite a big one and there's quite a few exciting additions, including this one that I'm about to show you, probably one of the most exciting, which is the new water mob called the Squid. And you might not be able to see it just yet. Sorry about that frame rate issue there. We'll just break this boat, and then using these we can illuminate the squids. So as you can see, they kind of move around like a squid would. They do those puffs, and you can see their square faces and everything, their mouth there, the eyes. These ones have 8 tentacles rather than the usual 10, which is what squids normally have. You cannot hook them with fishing rods, we know that. And yeah, they drop ink sacs when you kill them, so if we just kill it like that, this is an ink sac apparently. Yeah. And so that is our new mob, the major. Well, there's lots of major adds, but I think this is probably one of the most exciting. They'll spawn anywhere, I think that's anywhere that's at least 2 deep in water, but don't quote me, this is going off what I've read so far. Next on the agenda are these blocks, and the one I had in my hand, which is the note block. And the note block can make different sounds depending on what thing it's on. If it's on nothing, or if it's on something like dirt, it makes a piano sound, but we'll get to that in a second. First, what we want to do is be able to make one, which is you put wooden planks in a formation how you would if you're making a chest. And you don't make a chest, sorry. Do that. Then you put redstone in the middle and you have a note block. And then once you've done this, you can place them on different materials to make different sounds, and then you could have a beat or something like this. And so on, it's just messing around. And the other use it has, I just need one more of these. So this is dirt. Place them along here. This is a C. They're all C's at the start, right? Which is a note, if you don't know. Well, not necessarily a C, but it's all the same note. And so now what we can do is we can make this one a D by right-clicking tunes it, and it makes it go up a semitone. So C, D, that's a D, and now... Sorry, I just changed it to an F. My bad. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. C, D, D, that's a D. That's a D. So now we have C, D, 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 D. This is now, these ones are E's, F, F, G. So, there we go. So you can play a few different songs, like... Hot cross buns. We've got there we go. That's Mary Had a Little Lamb, and okay, I was trying to play In the Jungle, but I screwed that up, but hey. So those are the note blocks for you, so you can always mess around with that. Another new block you can make which involves sand is the sandstone, which is basically just how you'd make clay blocks or something. This is sandstone, and it looks a bit like sand, but it has a different sound and it doesn't fall. And if you break it open with your hands, you don't get anything, but if you break it open with a pick, you do get your sandstone back. So that's sandstone. Now, another important part of this is, as you can see, there's a spider there. Now, if we can just get to move, just see that? It climbed up the wall. Luckily, this wall has a little break on the top, which I didn't actually realize it would help me a lot, because spiders can now climb up walls. It doesn't matter what material as far as I know, but I don't know about fences, but they can certainly climb out glass and cobblestone walls. But this cobblestone stops from actually getting over. So that's another little thing, they can climb up walls. Here's another thing, there's two new tree types. There is this one which, I don't know, maybe it's a gum tree, but to me it looks like a zebra tree. And it looks different, but it does the exact same thing, just gives you 4 wooden planks every time. So that's one of the new trees. And here's the other new tree, which is obviously a pine tree in snowy areas. And I must say, this has got a very weird landscape over here. 2 floating islands, a small tiny little thing, another small tiny little thing, and yeah, it's same as the other zebra tree. Alright, well, we've been going for a while, so I think it's time for some cake. So we can just fill up these 3 buckets of milk with, I'm hoping there's a 3rd cow in here. And of course there is, I mean, why wouldn't there be? It's a bit dark down here too. I'll have to fix that later, but anyway, so we've got 3 buckets of milk, 3 pieces of wheat. You need to get your sugar canes, which was originally reeds, turn that into sugar, and then with your egg, put the egg in the middle, the 3 buckets of milk along the top, and don't worry, you will get your buckets back. Put your wheat along the bottom, and the sugar in the remaining slots, and you have cake. And now with this cake, we're just going to place it down there on the ground, so hygienic, and you can supposedly eat some, but I think I need to take damage. So now that we've taken some damage, we can eat a slice of cake, and I believe that's 1/6 that I've just ate. And so yeah, this will slowly diminish into nothing. But yeah, that is the cake, and now we have had some cake. Okay, so the new block that we are going to be looking at is called the dispenser, and I will be showing you a little bit more about it after this. This is a quick example. So I've got this tube thing, pretending it's in like a cave dungeon or something, and so I'm coming through here, and I'm like, ooh, a chest, what's inside it? Bang! Now that you've seen it in action, I'm just going to show you how you make it. So you'll need a piece of redstone, a bow, and then cobblestone around the outside. And you have the dispenser block. And here's a bit more of a demonstration. So you've got the dispenser, and it kind of faces in the way you place it. So the hole is the direction it's going to come out of. So for instance, let's see. Say I wanted this to be a chest dispenser. Chest dispenser. There we go. This is basically like a chest area, just not as big as one of these areas, right? And then what happens is every time it has a redstone power going to it, like this. That's just the simplest way of going on and off. It dispenses a random block from within this area. So if I put dirt in there as well, you can see, there we go. So I've still got another chest in there, it's just it hasn't actually dispensed it because it randomly chooses. That's just a really quick way. You normally have like a button or a pressure plate, so it could be like tools or something like that, or whatever you want. Or if you put arrows in it, then you can see it actually fires them quite a distance like a normal bow would, and it can also fire snowballs and eggs like so. I don't have any snowballs on me, but yeah, so that's the dispenser for you. Oh, and the other thing I forgot was, if you have a block placed over the hole, it actually fires through it. So not if you have a giant wall, but if I have just one block, you can see it fires out, and that's how that one worked, because instead of this being a chest, this here is just a piece of dirt, but it was a chest. So, and then I'd had it wired around underneath and everything to a pressure plate, and unfortunately you can't pick up arrows even if you have a bow. Now, one of the final things is wools and the dyes, and for the process of this, for this example, I have obviously embedded it in the lapis lazuli new ore, which you're looking at right now. So you can see that that breaks, and you get this. And then these flowers, they're both different dyes. The cactus makes a dye. The bone and the squid, the bone from the skeleton, the squid, that's not squid, that is from the squid, and it is an ink sac. So you've got all these materials, and this is already a lapis lazuli dye. The rose becomes rose red dye. The flower becomes dandelion yellow. The bone becomes bone meal, which is white. The cactus becomes cactus green. Oh, sorry, for the cactus, we'll get to that in a second. And the ink sac is already black. For this, we just need to grab wrong one, some coal, and you actually smelt or burn the cactus, and from the cactus you get cactus green, which is the last dye. These are all what we're going to call the primary colours. So for instance, if we just grab a stack of wool, we can experiment a little bit. So you can see that if I use this together, I get green wool. For this, I will get blue wool, and so forth. So obviously we'll make the rest. Now obviously I didn't have to make a white one because it's already white, but for instance, if I was to make another yellow one and then go, well, I think that should be white. Doesn't work. Well, not sure about that. I'm sure somebody will have a better idea. I know you can use dyes on sheep, so we'll just lay out these colours. So we've got the black, the blue, the green, the red, the yellow, and the white. Now, those are just the primary colours. Now we're going to move on to the secondary colours, which is basically mixing dyes. So we can start off with the orange dye, which is pretty simple. A yellow and a red makes 2 orange. So then we can obviously mix that with a piece of wool, and we get orange wool. Now there's also cyan, which is green and blue, I believe. Sure is. And then we'll get our cyan wool. Now we're going to go for purple, which is rose red, and we need lapis lazuli, I think. Yes, purple, and place down the purple wool. There's also grey, which is sorry, not normal wool, bone meal and ink sacs. That gives us grey. So it's another lovely colour. Light blue, which is lapis lazuli and bone meal. This gives us a nice light blue colour. So as you can see, there are a lot of different wools, which is good, very good. I'm very happy. There's pink, which is, as I'm sure you can guess, red and white, gives us pink. And there's the pink wool. So we've already got a few, we've got 3 more to go. Lime, which is cactus and bone meal, green and white. We have our white wool now. And the light grey wool, which is, you actually need your grey dye, and bone meal makes it even lighter grey dye. So you actually need, that's one of the ones you need to actually make another dye to make it. So you need to make, first you need to make the grey dye from the ink sac and the bone meal, then you add more bone meal. And final one, magenta, which is, we need purple dye, so it's another secondary colour being mixed with another, so 2 secondary colours, purple and pink, gives us magenta. Magenta, I love that word, it's pretty cool. So's the colour, it's like fluoro. And so yeah, this is all our different types of wool. These are all primary, and then these are mostly secondary, although I think for these 2 you need to make secondaries. Sorry if I'm wrong on any of them, it's a little bit complex for me. But anyway, that is the wools. So we've got all the dyes and the wools, and something I'll quickly show you is magenta pig. You can right click on not magenta pig, magenta sheep. You can right click on sheep and that will take the colour in your thing. So we could have it, oh, okay, yeah, there's a little spider up there, we'll just ignore him. So there's a black one, that's natural, but that's not, and we'll try one more. Pretty funky, I think. You could have like a whole, I don't know how that spider got up there. It's partially worrying. Oh well, especially because it's getting dark and he's going to go aggro. But anyway, that is all for the dyes. Also, one other thing you can do with bone meal is this. It accelerates growth, but by that, insta-growth. And same applies for wheat. Insta-harvesting, insta-growth. It's pretty OP at the moment. Pretty overpowered. But yeah, that's another thing you can do with bone meal. As you can see here, the monster spawners or mob spawners now have images in them, so this has the spinning pig because it's a pig spawner. Yes, I use inv-edit for this. As you can see here, you can smelt logs or wood for charcoal, which is a similar use of coal. It's not the same as you can see, but it has a very similar picture. I think it's actually exactly the same from what I can see, but I'm not sure. I just know that it's another use if you're desperate for coal. You can just use charcoal. There's also this thing with torches. You can kind of place them on the roof if there's a wall next to it, so yeah. That's another thing. So if I did this, I wouldn't be able to place it here, but I can place it there, and it just kind of hangs there. And finally, all the tools, the durability has been increased, and gold actually mines faster. Gold tools, they still have low durability, but they mine faster. And I really regret leaving that pig spawner there for a while. But anyway, that's it for my beta 1.2 overview, basically. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Hopefully it's been informative. I tried to keep it relatively neat and organized, but it was still a little bit sloppy, but forgive me for that. I gave it a go, and hopefully you guys like it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. And like that, fucked it up. Okay, now that you've seen it in action, that you can make, which is called the